Yo, what's up? I'm looking right now at train Lokführer, I think it's called, right? This is like program for like I guess Ausbildung, something like that. Weiterbildung, whatever. Bildung for Lokführer. And I was like, maybe I'll do this. Nothing much, grinding a bit of Dreamworld, since for one of the endings you basically need to build up a colony, then sell the colony and start a new with 500 colonists. Yeah, I see the notification, the Steam notification popping up often with Dreamworld DJQ. And yeah, I was thinking of this because yesterday I hung out with my friends. Okay, good moment to say what I ate. So yesterday night I hung out with my friends and I ate a burger. No, it was like a sandwich. Hash brown pulled pork sandwich. It was good. With fries and then pancakes. So that I had that for dinner. It was good. I like it. Didn't look as appetizing as in the menu because the bread was kind of too white. It looked like this industrial bread, which I know it is, right? But it should look better. But I don't know. It was good. Like the taste, it's good. And then the pancakes were too small, but I didn't give a fuck. The problem is that everything is so expensive, bro. It's like this fucking sandwich, 13 euros. Pancakes, 7 euros. Soft drinks, 4 euros. And it's like everything was 23 euros. Bruh, it's so annoying. It's like my friend makes like 800 euros a month. Let's say maybe 2000 net. Like 2000 taking into account that in Spain it's like we get 14 months on the year because they give you like 1 month extra in summer and like 1 month extra in winter, something like this, right? And my other friend makes like 2300, so more like 2500 maybe, right? So for them it's, I guess they can pay it. Plus we only go out like once a week, plus they don't pay rent or anything like this. But if they had to pay for their own food every day, plus that, plus like 23 euros every time you go out, I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's very little money. Like, it's too expensive for the amount of money that you get paid. But yeah. Then, today for lunch, I had an interesting salad that my mom made. It was like strangely presented. So it was like tomato, salmon, egg, and avocado. But it was like put together, like the tomato on like slices, I don't know. And then the avocado on top, and then the salmon on top of that, and the egg. Yeah, it was interesting. and the sauce was kind of like Oriental style, maybe. It had like a soy sauce and wasabi touch. And then after that, some kind of salmon dish with cream cheese and like cream cheese sauce and potatoes, like boiled potatoes or like boiled plus oven potatoes. I don't know. It was good, decent. So yeah, that is food. What did I do yesterday? I forgot already. Let's see. Let's see if I remember. I went to do that. Oh yeah, I hung out with my friends. Then I came back home, and because I had drunk a lot of soft drink, like Lipton iced tea, I stayed online way more than I should have, maybe. Oh yeah, I remember what I watched. I watched some video of some guy who had like transitioned into a girl and then transitioned back, and he was like saying his explanations or something like this. And I think mostly that, and like classic Twitter browsing and like watching YouTube videos, like random YouTube videos. And yeah, with my friends, the thing I'm looking at this. Well, I had already saved this thing, and my like the friend from Germany. What does staying up late have to do with Lipton iced tea? Iced tea is like caffeinated, right? So if I drink a lot of that, it's like I already stay at like 4 a.m. every day, but I stayed at like 5 something because of that, I think, right? It's like because of the caffeine. If I have caffeine late at night, kind of, I don't know. It takes longer for me to like realize I'm tired. And when I go to bed, I fall asleep slower. I'm at the last part, I think, but I'm getting a bit bored of this colony, so I want to finish it and start fresh. Okay, that was about the Ridmore colony. Okay. I wanted to play The Sims. If I play a game on stream in the coming days, it will probably be The Sims. But yeah, basically with the goal of building a house that has cars inside. So maybe I will just play on my own up until the point where I have like enough money to do it, and then on stream I will like build the house that I want. So like off stream I will just probably tonight from like 10 p.m. until 4 a.m. I will play The Sims, just leveling up some character or something, and then do that. But yeah, back to the fucking train thing. I was talking to my friends, right, and as always, we see each other like once a week or whatever. So it's like I don't have a lot to say because on the week, what do I do during the week? I do nothing, right? And what I do, like it's like you know what I do. Like the only things I can come up are like what have I watched the day before, and like what do I eat. So it's like I don't have a lot to say, and they have a jobs. Well, one of them has a job, the other, and he also like studies for something. I don't know. Maybe I should study for something. I've been thinking of going back to computer stuff, like computer science things. Just like, even if they are like random courses that I know are useless, it's like they are not entirely useless. I feel like there are a couple that are like decent courses to like learn things. So I think I could do those. But yeah, for example, I wanted to compare mentally because we were talking about like what, well, I was talking, I also talked a little bit about like what did I plan to do. I talked about like the emails that I sent, right? I sent a couple of emails to jobs and all this, right? Got one reply that wasn't very confidence inspiring and that. So I'm like, okay, delivering boxes in Germany. That is, I guess, like my main not my main option, because that also doesn't inspire me a lot of confidence, right? But I feel like it is, even if it doesn't inspire me confidence, I feel like it is like a possibility that makes sense, right? They give you a house, they give you money, and yeah, you have to work probably a lot of hours more than they expect or something like this, but it seems like regimented or something, at least. I don't know. But I was like, okay, so trying to think like long term, what is like of these options that I'm looking at, which are the ones that further my goals? Because they were asking something like, okay, but you studied engineering, right? So it's like, why do you not that, right? And I was like, okay, I don't want to go into like some junior engineering position or something, because I don't want to go to be a senior engineer, right? It's like, if a junior engineer in Spain pays less than delivering boxes in Germany, and I don't want to be a senior engineer, right? Then it doesn't make sense for me to take the junior engineering position right now, in the short term, right? In the long term, maybe if some other goals applied, right? So maybe even if it's like maybe delivering boxes is worse, like 5 years from now, still delivering boxes, like 5 years delivering boxes versus 5 years junior engineer. Even if I don't want to be a senior engineer, it's like being that is better than being set up for delivering boxes or something, right? So I get that, but I also want to think of like what gives me more flexibility, right? And sorry, not flexibility. It's like I want to find my. I don't know. I've talked enough about my goals and all this, right? I've talked a lot about them. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe even though I've talked a lot about my goals, and like some of my goals are like making this car museum thing or whatever, right? It's like I don't think my goals are that possession oriented, right? After all, it's like I think I'm coming around to to be like, okay, let's, maybe I could make a video about this. Something like coming around on what my goals are. It's like I mentioned this fucking car museum thing, right? And I think it's like eventually I want to get there, right? It's like, for example, doing this The Sims thing of like trying to have a house that has cars inside is kind of part of that, right? But also, I don't know, but lately it's like, but lately when I think of yes, and that's something of how I want to live my life or something like this. How I want to live my life, etc. I feel more like these material possessions or like this very like this sense of rootedness or something. It's like I feel like there's something off of it for me, and I think it's like I think things like I don't know how to explain this. There is this minimalist thing, right? Possessions versus experiences, kind of spectrum or something like this, right? Or people say this thing, right? People say, oh, I don't want to collect objects, right? I want to collect experiences or this kind of thing, right? And even though it's corny and and I don't know, it's like on the one hand, I'm the opposite. I am literally a person who has a super difficult time getting rid of objects. I have a lot of objects all the time, and I have a difficult time getting rid of them. It's like I see meaning in every object. So I am a quite materialistic person, right? I love things. But also, I know that it's kind of, it's like for the person who loves things, less things. For the person who hates things, some things, right? I don't know. Something like if you love things too much, have some moderation, right? It's like don't let yourself drown in things. And it's like same for the minimalist people, right? It's like if you don't love things, at least find some root somewhere, right? It's like you can find a root somewhere and you can try to something like this, right? I don't know. I know I'm not explaining myself very well, but so yeah, when I think of how I want to live my life, in that sense, it's like I love stuff, right? So I would obviously love to live in a big house, surrounded by things, right? Big house. I have a lot of cars. It's like every time I want a new car, I buy it and then I keep it because I can't sell the old cars that I have because I love all of them, right? And it's like I'm afraid of that too, right? It's like I'm afraid of that happening. Of like not being able to control myself or something like this, right? Or like I buy some clothes and then I can't throw away the old clothes or something like this. And I have too many clothes or it's like I feel like my goal of building a car museum in a way is a little bit of it's like allowing myself it's like changing the optics, right? It's like doing the same thing but changing the optics via storytelling, right? It's like hoarding cold cars that actually never get driven, right? Because that's essentially what a museum is, right? A museum is a place where old cars are stored and no one drives them ever. Basically, like that is literally what a museum is. And it's like I would give myself permission to do that, to hoard cars that I'm not going to drive, just because I have a pretty story to tell about each of them. If I find a story that is powerful enough for each car, I could be like, okay, I can do this, right? But it is still fucking hoarding cars, right? That are not going to be used. And I don't know if I want that. Well, it's a real privilege to be able to buy those cars and not have to sell them. So if you can, there is no problem if you would. Yeah, I don't know. I also think it depends on how you live, right? It's like there are some people who are kind of. It's like I don't really buy into the privilege dialectics, right? I don't. It's like every time, for example, someone says something like, "Oh, I'm so privileged to do this" or whatever, right? Even though I say it, I say sometimes, right? It's like I say something like, "Oh, I am privileged enough to live under the roof of my parents' house" or whatever, right? Mm, okay, true, and I don't want to downplay that much. But also not really, because every fucking person in the world has lived under their parents' house, like except the people who are not privileged, but like who are actively suffering, right? It's like if your parents don't fucking let you live under the roof of their house or whatever, right? It's like it's not a lack of privilege. It's a situation bad out of ordinary way, right? It's like a bad situation. It's not that the other people have privilege. It's that you lack basic human things that are expected, right? And even if they stop being like basic human things that are expected, right? It's like it's not privilege, right? It's a situation, right? And every situation has like pros and cons. So yeah, living under your parents' roof or whatever until 27 is a privilege, but also it fucking sucks that I couldn't have gotten a job. Like it's like it sucks that I can't get a job easily that pays me enough to be able to live, right? That is that a privilege? No, it sucks, right? Or it's like, would it be a privilege if I could have easily gotten a job? Mm, maybe, but also not really, right? It's like it's a job, so it has pros and cons. It's like maybe it's a job that works out of hours. I don't know. It's like that kind of thing, right? So it's like if you have a lot of cars, is it a privilege? I mean, yes, but also it can tie you down, right? It's like if having a lot of cars is annoying. It's like you have to take care of them. If you want them to be in a good condition, you have to take care of them. You have to pay attention to when you have to pass inspection. You have to maintain them. It's like it is work or a job or something like this. Right? It is putting a load onto yourself. So, are you privileged to be able to have the load in the first place? Kind of, but also you are giving yourself this privilege of carrying fucking the weight of maintenance cars, blah blah blah, right? It's like, yeah, it's like, is having a family a privilege? Kind of, right? But also not really, right? It's like you have to take care of your family, right? It's like the people in the United States, right? It's like they have huge houses. They have. It's like they have. It's like a lot of people in the United States have so much stuff that they have to do shit like actively think about minimalism, right? Or they have so much shit that they can do like garage sales every year, right? It's like garage sales are a thing because people have so much stuff that they have to get rid of it every year, right? Is that privilege? Yes, but also it is also kind of painting the picture of how people are living in these kind of hoarding places, right? It's like the neighborhoods are constructed in such a way where you have a lot of space to hoard and you can hoard a lot of things, but you are also tied to fucking having to have a car to go do the most basic shit, right? And here in Europe, it's like you can just live in your flat, in your apartment, and you don't have space to put a lot of things. It's like you don't have the privilege to be able to store things, but you have the privilege to fucking walk to the grocery store, and it's like you don't need to hoard shit every day. It's like you don't need to buy fucking Costco amounts of like milk. You don't have to buy gallons of milk to store because you can just literally go to the store and buy your small bottle of 1 liter of milk when you go back from uni, right? And it's like you cannot do that in the United States, right? You can't. I mean, in like the suburbs, you can if you live in like New York City, or if you live maybe in the downtown Dallas area or something like that. I don't know. It kind of is, but it shouldn't be, I guess. The family thing, I think, right? That's what you were responding to. I guess, I don't know. It's like, I guess, I don't know. Privileged thinking is kind of... I don't know. In short, privileged thinking or something like this is kind of this like leftist, cultural, social type of thing, right? Marxist, maybe. It comes from like Marxism, class, right? Versus what I'm trying to think in terms of is like more like market dynamics, right? It's like if you think in terms of privilege and you don't think in terms of market dynamics, right? You think in like static terms. It's like the world doesn't move. It's like the world is too static. If I think in terms of market dynamics and like how much do some people want this, and it's like how much are people willing to pay for this, right? Then it's like it shows different sides of the coin, right? I don't know, I got super derailed. Let's see. Mention when I think how I want to live my life. Yeah, when I think how I want to live my life, I don't know. It's like I think in terms of like I don't know. It's like I don't fuck it. This is my stream, right? So I can say whatever I want. I don't want to say these things out loud in public or whatever, right? Because they are kind of rude, I guess. And it's like I don't think 100% this way. But for my personal taste, right? To me, living is more... I don't know, it's like to my brain, living is more like experiencing different things, right? Experiencing like the wide spectrum of things. But I think there are some people who are like more suited to like experiencing the depth of things, right? And I think I am way more like variety thing, right? And I think the possessions lifestyle is a lifestyle that is more oriented to the people who go deep, right? It's like renting versus buying, for example. Buying a house is like establishing your roots somewhere. It's like there are some people who don't overthink the fact that they want to have to buy a house. For example, my friends all know that they want to buy a house in our town, here, right? It's like, to me, that's crazy, right? To me, it's like, how do you want to buy a house? It's like, why are you so... I don't know, I know that you can sell houses, but how can you choose to buy so quickly without having even tried anywhere else, right? But I think there are some people who are like that. It's like who are like, okay, I can choose. It's like I choose here by default, and that is how it is, right? It's like, and I'm not like that. And I feel like this renting versus buying mindset, I don't know, I feel like some people are like, you evolve, right? It's like you evolve from renting versus buying, from renting to buying. It's like, okay, maybe you have a renting phase, right? And then you will find the place where you want to buy. And I'm like, I'm not so sure anymore, right? It's like I used to think that. I used to think something like, okay, this car museum thing, right? I used to think something like, okay, I will settle down and build this thing. But now I feel like maybe that doesn't happen ever, right? It's like not because I don't get enough money or something like this, right? It's because I don't end up making it happen because of what it represents, right? It's like if I, for example, if I had $1 billion right now, would I start building that right now? I know in my heart I wouldn't start with that, right? It's like I wouldn't start looking at those things right now. It's like I would travel the world first, right? I don't know. Not just travel, right? I would do other things also. It's like with $1 billion, for example, my approach to buying a house is like, I don't know, yeah, my approach, for example, to building a museum maybe would be more like I have $1 billion. It's like I literally have $1 billion. I don't give a fuck about money, right? It's like I can build whatever the fuck I want, have someone else run it also, right? It's like that is the power of the $1 billion. But if I have to run it, it's like if I got given 100,000, then I wouldn't do it, for example, right? Then I would do something else. It's like if I got given 100,000, then it's like, oh, obviously I'm not going to retire, right? So it's like, what do I do with those 100,000? It's like I probably would still fucking waste them traveling or something like this, right? It's like I would, but yeah, traveling. It's like that would give me, I guess, like margin to travel, go someplace, and get a job there or something like this, or like try to find some thing that keeps me there, like that lets me maintain my lifestyle there without draining too much the money, right? But it would give me like the buffer to do it. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like I don't know what I would do with the money right now. What would you do with the money if you got given? Yeah, if you think of these two scenarios, it's like, does your answer change? For example, does your answer change between if you got given $1 billion, for example, or 10 billion? It's like not infinite, but like a lot of money, right? Like type of money that it's hard to to finish versus 100,000. It's like I think some people, it's like I think the obvious answer is something like, of course I would change. But I think there are some people who wouldn't change, right? It's like and I feel like I, right now, even though I just said that thing that, oh, of course it would change, I feel like the money wouldn't even solve things, right? It's like, for example, if your ex-girlfriend has like just dumped you or something, you probably are not like, the $1 billion would get her back, right? You're probably like, I would still be like, it's like maybe I could forget. It's like the difference between the trip, it's like maybe I would book a trip to Mallorca with 100,000 euros and maybe with $1 billion, I would go to like the Maldives to like clear my head. But probably, let's say, when you got back, you would still be thinking about your ex-girlfriend or something like this, right? Well, with the billion, I definitely could live on that without needing to work, so I would definitely just chill until the end of my days. But 100k, I would live more free, but still need to work and stuff. Do you think you wouldn't get bored of just chilling? Maybe not, right? I don't know. It's like, for example, would you quit what you are doing and just chill? What are you like? What are you doing? Are you in your last year of the computer thing? It's like, would you finish it, or would you say fuck with the billion? Right? With the 100,000, I assume you would say, okay, it's probably good that I finish it. It's like, okay, I'm more chill, but I would probably finish it. But with the billion, would you quit and do something else, like quit and play RimWorld 24/7, or would you like say, nah, I'm still, it's like I'm good, I would finish it still, right? I'm kind of interested in the lessons and whatever, right? I could learn Japanese and go to Japan without worrying to have to work and so on. Interesting. I would definitely quit everything immediately with the billion. Okay. Yeah, maybe you would buy something like with $1 billion. It's like you would buy a house in Japan, or like get the investment visa in Japan to be like, not, I'm not worried about how long I can stay here. And then you would be like, okay, I would find a Japanese tutor, 24/7 tutor or something like this, right? That, and you pay them like whatever, 100,000 euros per year or whatever, right? I'd probably start streaming, lol. My point then is something like, if you had $1 billion, it's like that would solve some things, right? Like the visa thing or like the something else thing, right? But then it's like if you start thinking back to current reality, it's like what? It's like what is stopping you from streaming right now, right? Besides like time or something like this, right? But also not really time, right? With a billion, I would also think I can possibly spend all of it, so I would give some away to my family, my friends, and stuff, even to random guy on the street. I don't know. I never think of charity when I think of $1 billion. Look, that is something that I never think of. It's like I never think, when I think of me having a lot of money, I never think of giving it away. It's like I think it's like, what could I eat? What could I do with it, right? But yeah, I see people on Twitter, for example, when they get asked that question, they are like, oh, I would fund projects from people like these people, blah, 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 right? I see this on Twitter as well. Well, now I have free time between work and I use that mostly for games and stuff, chatting with friends. But if I didn't have to work, I could stream a lot without having to take sponsors or doing it for the money. Yeah, true, I guess. Okay, where was I? I don't know. I guess this ties back into the thing, right? Into the topic of like possessions versus experiences, because even that, right? Even those things are not like possessions, right? It's like you are not like, if I had $1 billion, I would buy a house, right? It's like you are like, I would learn Japanese, right? It's like you don't really care about the house that you are in, right? If you have $1 billion. I know that there are some people who would be like, I would buy a coffee shop, right? And I would, or like the movie Mamma Mia 2 or something, right? I would buy a hotel in Greece, right? Or yeah, something like, for example, I used to be like this, right? I am like this kind of, right? I would buy a car museum, right? It's like I cannot buy a car museum right now. Well, I cannot buy a fucking workshop and put cars in it, right? Like I would buy a workshop and put cars in it. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know what it would do. Like, I really don't know what I would do. Is my problem, right? It's like if I knew what I would do with X $1 million, with 100,000, with right. It's like if I knew at least some of them, I could do the exercise of okay. Then with $0, right, like right now, what would I do, right? I like the small room for myself and stuff, but I would probably move to a small house on my own, so I didn't have neighbors under me, so I could be as loud as I like. Yeah, I like to stream, obviously, so I would also do that. Not sure if the house or like maybe a building that is well insulated or something. It's like I like, or like I would buy a regular place, or like a regular, or not a regular flat, like a premium flat, but that was well insulated or something like this. Like one penthouse that has like 2 floors, and I would put like the studio on the top, something like this. I don't know. I don't know what I would do, to be honest. It's like I've made so many videos about what I would do, and still I don't know what I would do. For example, I would like to get my licenses. This is like a goal, right? The thing I wanted to say for this, right? All of this is just I want to get many licenses. Right? Like this is the connection to this, right? I started talking about this because of this fucking train license thing, because like a goal of mine is to get many licenses, right? It's like basically what I wanted to say with all this is that things like possessions versus experiences, like it's like, to me, having the goal of like buying a house or something like this is less valuable than having the goal of like getting a train license, a car license, a motorbike license, a plane license, blah, 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 right? It's like getting all of those to me is more interesting, right? I feel like I would enjoy that. It's like they are experiences, right? It's like that would be cool to me. But I know that there are some people who are maybe like, I don't give a fuck about that, right? It's like I would do other things, or like, no, I don't give a fuck about that. I just want to buy a house, right? It's like when faced with the choice of like spending money between things and not things, like experiences like that, because a driving license, it's like those are considered, they are so expensive because they are like an investment in yourself, right? If you buy a plane license, they give you money before. It's like they lend you money, sorry, because they know that you will be able to make it back working as a plane driver, sorry, as a plane pilot, right? Same with this train thing, right? It's like they are paying you to be a Lokführer, because you are going to have to führ loks, right? For like 2 years or something. I don't know the specifics, but that is the thing. And yeah, basically the connection that I wanted to make is that this, for example, is closer to my goals than some other things. It's like, for example, what gets me closer to my goals? This gets me closer to this goal of getting every license possible that I can, right? At what cost? At the cost of like 3 years of something working for them, right? Am I willing to pay the cost? It's like, I think I am, right? Because the license thing is also interesting, that they pay for it for you, but they make you work. But also the cool thing about having a train license is working as a train driver, right? It's like, that is the whole point, right? So it is, after all, kind of cool. The problem is that they tie you down, right? It's like they want to have you tied down. They ask you this, right? What? Yeah. Disposición para el aprendizaje. Yeah. Disposición para trasladarte a Alemania por un largo plazo. This is like disposition, so like that you want to go to Germany for long term, right? It's like, depending on the definition of long term, I could be lying if I say yes, right? If they tell me, do you want to be in Germany 50 years? I would be like, hell the fuck no, right? But if they say 5 years, I would be like, yeah, right? It's like different, right? But obviously I would lie. It's like if I go interviewed by these people, right? I would lie. I would simply say, hell yes, right? I want to stay here forever, right? It's like I fell in love in Munich when I was there, and I want to go back forever or something, right? I don't know, whatever the fuck they do to let me in. But then when I get in, I would look up, okay, how much time do I actually have to be here without breaking the contract or something like this, right? It's like, I obviously would want to know. But this does get me further into learning about trains. It's like getting the train license. And I feel like, for some reason, I feel like I am that type of person, right? I am the type of person that gets the car driving license and doesn't actually drive that much after all, right? For example, that's what happened with me. When I was a kid, I wanted to get that's what the only thing that I wanted. I wanted to get my car driving license. Then I turned 18, I got the car driving license, my parents paid for it. And I obviously drive. I don't hate driving or something, but I don't drive as much as other people do. I never bought a car for myself to actually drive, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I am that type of person that quits things. It's like, not that quits things or something, right? But that likes to move on to the next thing quickly, right? So I feel like maybe the move is something like this, right? And then I try to get my plane license, right? After 3 years there, it's like, while getting my train driving license, I sign up, and after school I get another license. like the motorcycle license. So I'm getting my motorcycle license in Germany while I'm getting my train license. Then I drive a train for a couple of years while I'm getting another fucking license, right? And I change licenses, I never get bored, right? And then I have an accident and I die, right? Or I have an accident and I'm paraplegic and I get a pension from the state and I die. Until I die and I don't do anything or something. I don't know. Whatever. Or like I get blind for some reason and now I can't drive and my dreams go to the shitter and I have to think of something else, right? I used to think a lot about this, right? I used to think, okay, what if I get diabetes and they have to cut off my legs, right? And I can't drive anymore or something like this, right? Because I used to like cars so much, right, that it was like my obsession, right? So it's like, what if I can't ever drive? Or like if I get so blind that I can drive? Or something like this. It's like, because my mom's father, my grandfather, but he has been dead, so I never met him, but he had some kind of condition in the eyes where like he had like tunnel vision, right? So his his like vision got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, as far as like with time. And I was like, what if that happens to me? It's like, what will I do when I'm 50 years old? Or because he died kind of early, right? It's like, what will I do if I'm like 50, from like 50 to 90? If I can't see, right? I can't drive. What the fuck do I do, right? That was what I was thinking, right? That changed course real quick. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's related, right? It's like identity death in a sense, right? It's like, what do I do with that? I don't know. I guess the thing that I have to do is like craft my story so that it makes sense, right? So if I'm driving trains for 2 years, what the fuck do I say to the plane license guy? Right? It's like, if it's private pilot, I don't give a fuck, right? But if it's, for example, if I want to get my commercial license, it's like, what the fuck do I tell the bank? Do I tell them I want to switch careers? And they would ask like, why, right? And I would have to be like, okay, yes, when I was in college, after college, I did some internship in this aeronautic company, and I've been paying attention to the aeronautic sector for a while, blah blah blah. It's like I will have to make up some kind of story so that it makes sense. Or something. It's like my dream has always been, so now I got the job in trains because blah blah blah. I don't know. It's like I don't know what the fuck would I say to be able to do that. It's like I couldn't afford to get the plane license before, but now I think I can, or something. I don't know. And I feel like this course of life is interesting. It's like it's more fitting for my conception of living life, right? It's like when people ask shit like, why would you learn Japanese if AI can speak, right? Imagine that in 5 years, AI can speak Japanese. You can just go around. You can literally take a flight to Japan, put some fucking pin here. You go, irashaimase, and you say hello, and the pin says like or something. Or it's like you wear a mask, and the mask fucking you say hello, and the mask automatically, it's like almost in real time says it or something like this. Imagine it works that well. It's like, would you learn Japanese or not? For me, it's like, I don't know. I mean, the AI is like really that good, but maybe not that good, but like good enough. Say the pin, right? It's like you go and you can like go to the fucking most remote town in Japan. You can be like, they can talk to you, blah blah blah, and then the fucking pin translates and you hear it. More, it's like there is a little bit of delay, right? But it lets you communicate perfectly, right? But maybe, for example, it doesn't. It's like when you are out with friends, it's like when you are out in Japanese society or something, you cannot. I don't know, it's hard to say. I still couldn't read the manga. No, I mean, like, imagine, for example, I don't know. Imagine that the AI gets so good that you drop the PDF of the manga in Japanese and it drops you the PDF in manga with manga in German, right? And imagine it gets so good that it gets like fucking German translator level, right? Like you hover over the fucking manga translated and it tells you like translator's note, colon, colon. The term unko actually is like a diminutive of unchi, which means shit, and it's kind of vulgar but also kind of infantilized or something, right? And you can like know everything and they know every context, and it's like in this context it means that the character Magari is actually very fun. It's like a very kind of tsundere against the something, right? It's like it tells you everything. Would you still want to learn Japanese, or would you say no? It's like this is good enough. It's like I just want to read the fucking manga, right? I read in English since I know myself and I'm very lazy. It's like maybe you are not lazy. It's like maybe you just want to read manga. Right? It's like that's not laziness. That's like your interest, right? It's like your interest is in like manga, right? It's like that's not being lazy regarding Japanese. It's simply that your interest is not the Japanese language and like knowing the Japanese language or whatever, and it is like reading these stories and the ability to comprehend the stories, right? I would want to know Japanese, but I hate learning. Lol. I don't know. It's like I think it's different. Like, for example, this is like where the privilege thing comes to mind. It's like there is some mindset that is like, I don't know. Maybe here it doesn't apply. Yeah, I guess I hate learning, but I would want to know Japanese, but I hate learning. I think yeah, that is a fair sentence, right? It's like the amount you want to know Japanese is less than the amount you hate studying, right? The process of studying or something. Yeah, that could be a thing. It's like you would want to know in an ideal world, like being able to read the thing and like understand, but the process is just not fun or something, right? You don't expect the process to be as fun as learning, or I don't know, something like this, I guess. To get many licenses. The problem is that for me, for example, there are layers to it, right? Because I don't know like to what extent do I want to get many licenses, or if I just want, and I don't know, it's like I would want to record the process of that, right? It's like I would record the process as much as I can. But I don't know. Mhm. Guatemala City. Septiembre de 2025. No. Okay, I forgot. Then this is probably something like that, right? I mean, I'm H2B1. What do I put? Okay, tomorrow I will fill the application. Not today. Or I didn't even count YouTube video finishes or list travel places, to be honest. I just talked about jobs or whatever. Not even jobs, more like life. I don't want to record any video today. Maybe tomorrow I will record the video and on Tuesday I will send the application. Or maybe I will send the application off camera or something. Or maybe tomorrow I will play The Sims. I don't know. I don't know what we'll do. Coming around on what my goals are. I mentioned this car museum thing, but lately I only think of how my life I want to get many licenses. Yeah, it's like I mentioned this kind of museum thing, and then for example, think that is kind of in the middle or something, right? It's like I don't know where this goes, right? It's like the car museum thing. The point of it was the videos, right? The videos. It's like I wanted to make videos about the car. It's like I think that was the best life idea, like the best living idea for the museum. Like to me, a museum is like a dead place, right? Museum is where the cars not die. That's the junkyard, but it's like freezing history or something, right? It's like the freezer in McDonald's, right? It's like that is a museum. It's like the freezer in McDonald's is a place where there is food, yes, but it's frozen. So is it really food? It's more like something that is waiting to be food, but that if there is no kitchen, there cannot be food, right? So, to me, the video part, that would be kind of the life of it, right? That would be the kitchen that the fucking freezer needs for the McDonald's to operate, right? So, that was kind of the big thing, in my opinion. And I think that there are some museums right now that are doing, or like, I don't think there is like a single museum. Like JP Performance, he's a German YouTuber. He made a museum. But I think that the channel actually makes it better, right? And I think in Spain, there aren't many like that. I think in Spain, something like different is happening, right? Something like, it's like museums are kind of opening the doors to YouTubers or something like this. It's like if the guy has like a museum, they will be like, as to some YouTuber, hey, come, right? But, which is nice, if you are a YouTuber, but I'm not a YouTuber, right? And, well, actually I am, but I'm not just a popular one, and I'm not like in the car niche. So like what I wanted is like to combine the thing, right? It's like to make the fucking museum the thing that tells the stories, right? It's like they are the people who know the most about the fucking cars, right? It's like they should be the ones telling the story. They should be the ones telling the narratives. It's like they shouldn't wait until some fucking guy with 100,000 subscribers knocks on their door and is like, hey, can I come in? Look at it. And they don't actually know that much about it because it's not their museum, right? So it's like they can only tell what the museum tour guide tells you, but they have limited time because it's closed, right? It's like, I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of the life of the fucking museum, right? The stories that you yourself tell to the people. It's like, but would that make the museum obsolete or not? It's like, I don't know. I think it wouldn't. I think paradoxically, even though they know the fucking story already, it's like they can even appreciate it more by being there, even though it's literally just looking at dead cars, right? Because you have brought life to it, in a sense, right? I feel like that would be like that's like the point of the thing, right? It's like, why, if I called the museums the place where cars go to die, why would I make one? It's like, no, because I don't actually think that, because of the twist that I would put on it, right? The fucking videos. It's like the videos would go first. It would be the point. But the problem is that I don't feel myself like, it's like I don't feel like I would make the videos good enough, right? I don't feel like I'm a person who is good enough making videos. It's like, so then I have to get better at making videos. And what would I have to do to get better at making videos? It's like, definitely not sign up to the train driving school, right? That is kind of that is the crux of the thing, right? But, and if I make videos about the train driving school and I don't care that much about those videos because those are not the goal, I can get better at making videos while. See, it's like, so it becomes the path, right? It becomes the path. Unless I make videos about it, right? Unless I make videos about it. That could be interesting. And yeah, the thing that would require not being precious, not becoming precious, right? Becoming precious about the train driving, right? About the licenses project. Because then the problem is that something could happen, right? Because I actually do want to get many licenses, right? So that could become the project in itself, right? I would obviously make a new channel and I would make the channel about the licenses thing, right? Would that? It's like, I think that it's like caring about it, right? Caring about it is interesting, and but I should have, it's like I should have in mind it's like it's interesting. Why? For example, for getting better opportunities, like for getting better opportunities for the license thing, right? It's like, it would be cool if it is a project rather than just a tiny-minded thing, because then I can think of it in terms of like, okay, I can use it itself, right? It's like I can make trained videos, I can tell my experience in like Spanish driving school, car driving school, and I can use that to ask for maybe opportunities to learn, different opportunities, right? So maybe I could tell the train thing, but then once I get the opportunity, it's like when I show something, I can show, right? And the next license that I get, for example, the bike license, I can show the process of me getting the bike license, right? And right, so I could use that to make it better, but I could not be too precious about it, right? It's like if I get too precious, but if I get too precious and that becomes the main thing, right? I fuck up, right? I don't know. I also don't want to be like, if it becomes the main thing, maybe it's all right? It is also like a lifelong thing. It's also like a long-term thing I want to get better at, right? It's not strictly instrumental. But also maybe it doesn't matter. And it's impossible for it to be strictly instrumental. I don't know. I think this more or less is what I'm thinking about right now, right? It's like, paradoxically, even though I'm streaming in front of the camera and all this, it's like I don't want to make good videos. Like the reason why I haven't made good videos, it's because I have a hard time like investing effort in myself in the video sense for some reason, right? I think in other senses too, right? But in the video sense in particular, I have a hard time. It's like, I don't know if this is like my final form or whatever, right? I don't know how I want to show up to the camera, how that kind of thing. I don't know, hard to say. And I definitely have to think about this more, right? I have to think also like what do the other things would be, right? It's like probably not sign up for driving school. Okay, so then what, right? So then what? It's like I applied to be a video editor for Jaime Altozano, which is like a YouTuber here, like 2 times or once, maybe. I don't know if I applied once or twice. I think twice. But I consider applying another 3rd time, but I don't think they are hiring, right? I think they would share if they are hiring, right? So I could try to go the video route, but I am too embarrassed to ask for video positions, right? With what I've built up, right? With my videos, for some reason. Well, because they are not successful, right? They are not good. I don't consider them good because of the reason that I said, right? It's like the thing would probably be to ask for video work, right? But I am embarrassed of it, right? But I'm embarrassed of it because my video because I'm not proud of my videos or something, right? Because I'm not proud of my videos. I don't know, it's not strictly that I'm not proud of my videos. It is a factor, but I also don't think it doesn't matter if I'm proud or not. I don't think they are the base. It's like I don't want to judge myself before others judge me, right? But also I kind of do, right? It's like I don't know for certain if someone would value all of the videos that I've made in order to consider me for a position to edit videos or something. But I don't know. But I know it's like deep down, I know that this is obviously what they are not looking for, right? It's like for an editor job, for example. That Lex Friedman, for example, personal assistant job was interesting too. I also lack self-confidence. It's not just self-confidence, right? It's not just that. It's, I mean, to me, I don't know, maybe it is self-confidence, but it's easy to have self-confidence when you have actually done something, right? It's like if you have done something, it's like you can have done something and not have self-confidence. That is called imposter syndrome, right? I don't have imposter syndrome, right? It's like I just haven't done anything, right? It's different, right? It's like different things. It's like the solution to my lack of self-confidence is not to have self-confidence, right? It is both to do something and be confident about it. The problem is that there exists a type of person who is like they haven't done anything but are self-confident. And this like those people, I guess I am envious or whatever, right? But I know I cannot just become them, right? Or I don't want to become them even, right? It's like I want to be matched. I don't want to have like more self-confidence that I need. I don't know, maybe the artists, it's like maybe art is different in the sense that art requires self-confidence above everything, right? It's like if you are an artist, you have to be confident about it. And I do consider myself an artist in a kind of sense, right? I consider my videos art in a way. It's like I don't think they are art or like high art or anything like this, but on the spectrum of like art versus whatever, it's like, for example, something that is not art, but it's like work, right? Art versus work, they are art, right? It's like my videos are not work. They are not curriculum. They are not portfolio, right? They are art. They are what they are, right? It's like they are expressions of myself, right? They are that kind of thing, right? They are me saying things to the world. It's like writing. It's like a poem. It's like something like that. It's like a novel, right? It's not a curriculum to... Curriculum, I don't mean curriculum. I mean something like... What do you say? It's not like whatever. It's not like portfolio projects. It's not client work, right? It's not that. It's art. It's like expressing myself, right? It's like I know, and they know that for applying to jobs, people look for portfolio pieces. They look for past client work. They look for, right? That is the problem. And I don't have those things because I have focused myself on doing art. Even if it's bad art, it's like the point of art or whatever. It's like it can be bad, better, good, worse. I know my videos are bad or whatever, right? It's like when I watch a video of mine, I'm not like this video is excellent compared to when I watch, for example, a video by Caroline Winkler or something, right? I watch a video of Caroline Winkler and I'm like, whoa, this is excellent, right? I watch my own videos and I'm like, but that is also not the point, right? The point is that I made the video that is because I had to, right? It's like because I wanted to say whatever I say in the video that is. It's like, so it's like it's not like I'm not proud of them or whatever. Right? It's like that I'm proud of having made them, but I'm not proud enough to use them as portfolio pieces because they are not, right? It's like I have on my LinkedIn something like no sé cuántos X thousand tweets written. I have, but it's a joke, right? Obviously, right? It's like, it's a joke. I know that you don't put your personal shit on LinkedIn, right? It's a joke, right? It's basically because it's a fucking joke, right? I have been doing that, but it's like, imagine if it's like if you are a true artist or whatever, right? If you are like a painter and you decide to open a LinkedIn page, it's like, it's obviously not the place, right? It's like LinkedIn, you cannot put something like worked at painter and you say like freelancing painter. It's like, no, because if you are a painter, you are not freelancing, right? It's like, if you are a painter, you are a fucking painter. You are painting for yourself, right? If you sell the fucking paintings and you write then something like X $1,000 of paintings sold, it's like, okay, that is interesting in a way, and it maybe makes sense to put that on the LinkedIn. It's like if I had made money on on YouTube or whatever, and I put it would probably be interesting, right? It would probably be like more LinkedIn oriented. But a painter putting something like 300 paintings painted, it's like, LinkedIn would react like, why the fuck do I care about this information, right? It's like, it's not LinkedIn appropriate information, right? The whole point why I'm doing it is because it was a fucking joke and I thought it was funny, right? So, but it's like I was both thinking it's a joke and thinking it was funny, but also thinking that that people who find it funny and people who get the fucking joke also value it, right? I thought both at the same time. Now I'm not so sure about the second part, right? Now I'm not so sure about the valuing part being connected to me getting fucking money or the job, right? That is the problem. I used to think that I could have pulled it off. Now I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess not. The problem with now is that now I am thinking rationally, right? Now I am thinking like, okay, what should I do to get a job in this position, right? And I guess I am kind of getting surprised at the fact that, not surprised, it's like, yeah, I'm getting surprised at the realization that it doesn't work. It's like in the real world, it doesn't work. It's like I was in my artist's world or something like this, right? I think, for example, if I was an actual artist or whatever, if I like were to told an actual artist something like this, right? They would probably like shame me in the opposite sense. Like they would be like, okay, how did you make just this amount of videos? Like, how did you only make 200 videos if they are so easy to make? It's like I would have made 400 or like 500 more if they are so easy to make or something like that. Or like maybe they would respect it. It's like, or they would be like, okay, you dedicated 2 years of your life being unemployed in your parents' house just making videos and streaming. Actually, I respect that. Right? I think someone who is like an artist or something would understand, or maybe not respect, but understand. It's like, okay, I get it. It's like, interesting, yeah, I get it. Right? It's like I would have done similarly. It's like, or something like this, right? Versus the workplace, right? In the workplace, it's like if you are trying to send resumes, they would be like, can you explain this gap on your resume, right? It's like, it is like a gap. And I would have to lie or something, right? So yeah, I think this is it for today. I am tired. My throat hurts a little bit for talking and not drinking, more than for being sick. I think I'm no longer sick. But yeah, thank you for being here. Okay, shit, I still have this, so then what? I would probably be to ask for video work. It's yeah, to further this goal, the Cannes Museum goal, it would be to either ask for video work or to like money max, right? From what I heard, no, I would definitely think artists would at the very least understand. Yeah, I think so as well, right? Respect is different. I don't think they would respect it because like respect is also like very intrinsically tied to like the quality of the art, right? It's like if someone makes a song that you like, you respect them for it, right? Or like and it's like you get it. But if someone makes a song that you don't like or is like something like this, then maybe they don't respect it, but maybe they probably understand or something. I don't want to do this. I don't. It's like I don't know why I don't do this. It's like I don't know why I haven't done this. It's like I think the problem with money maxing, right? I think the problem with money maxing is that it fucking it's like that you it's like if you want to money max, you basically need to be a little bit sociopathic, right? It's like it's that you need to be sociopathic. It's like the opposite of an artist, right? The opposite of an artist. It's like you need to either not feel anything, right? Or to not care about your own feelings and be able to like say, fuck it, I'm going to bury my feelings until, or something like this, right? Or be colder, right? Or maybe just be colder, right? Or maybe just be a normal level-headed person, right? Maybe there are artists that are also normal and level-headed. Maybe I'm being kind of like the fucking stereotyping artists person, right? Maybe just like the normal level-headed person, right? And I'm just simply not a normal person, a normal level-headed person. Like my head just is not level-headed, right? I dream and then the dreams crash or something. I don't know. Now, yes. You've already said the okay, see ya, so yeah. Now, okay, see ya for